As students at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo, we undoubtedly live in one of the most beautiful areas in California. Because we are engineering students, we understand how hard it can be sometimes to forget about schoolwork for a little while and enjoy what SLO has to offer. Because San Luis is so close to the ocean, one of the best ways to get rid of some of that stress is to learn how to surf. And what better place to surf than at Morro Bay? Today we will be taking you step by step, first through the basics of surfing and finally how to safely surf, particularly at Morro Bay. Before you head out, there are a few things you'll need: a surfboard, a wetsuit, a towel, and surfing wax. The ukulele is optional. The first thing you'll need to do is wax your board. This is so that your feet won't slip off when you catch the perfect wave. You'll want to put wax where your front foot will be, about halfway down the board, where your back foot will be, and also on the right and left rails, where you will be grabbing the board occasionally. After your board is waxed, you'll want to put on your wetsuit. The key to putting it on correctly is to make sure the zipper is on your back so you won't be laying on it. First, put on the suit like a pair of pants, ensuring that the bottom half is on completely snug before continuing. Next, put on the top half of the suit as if you're putting on a jacket backwards. You will then reach around and find the zipper string. Pull over your shoulder to zip up the suit. After your wetsuit is on, you'll want to put on the leash. This is important because you don't want to lose your board. Your leash needs to be on your back leg, which could be the right or left leg, depending on which stance is most comfortable for you. Make sure the cord points away from your body so you don't trip over it. We will now be showing you some of the basics of surfing. Because it is easier to see, we decided to do this in a swimming pool. Because the pool water is warm, we have taken off the wetsuit, but since the ocean water is much colder, be sure to leave yours on. The first basic skill to learn is how to lay on your board. Make sure to center yourself left to right and look at the tip of your board and make sure it is an inch or two out of the water. After learning to lay on your board, the next step is learning to paddle. When paddling, take long strokes and let your feet trail along straight behind you. After learning to paddle, you will need to learn the duck dive. When paddling out at Morro, you will be faced with oncoming waves that will want to push you back to shore. The duck dive will allow you to dive under them and continue to paddle out to the good waves. First, you will grab the rails of the board and push the tip underwater. You will then place your back foot on the rear of the board and push the back half of the board under. Lastly, pull your body close to the board, allowing you and the board to be fully submerged. Here's another view from above. After learning the duck dive, you'll need to learn how to sit on your board. The duck dive gives you the skill you need to get past the whitewater, where you can then start looking for the perfect wave. Sitting on your board is important because you will have a better, higher view of the waves on the horizon. Sitting on your board is harder than it looks and is all about balance. To be properly balanced, make sure you are centered both from front to back as well as from left to right. Now that we've found a good wave, it is important that we know how to stand up on the board. It is easiest to practice this on land, but make sure to lay down a towel or two before laying on the board so you don't break your fins. When the wave comes, paddle as hard as you can towards shore, and when you feel it begin to push you, place both hands on the face of the board near your chest, and in one fluid motion, bring your front leg under your arm while simultaneously placing your back leg into position. It is very important that your feet are centered left to right or you will not be able to balance. You can then stand to your feet and enjoy the ride. We're ready to take on Morro Bay. However, before we head out, there are a few things you need to know about surfing under the rock. Here are some brief safety warnings before you go. When walking down to the water, the path is very rough and rocky, so make sure you watch your step on the way down. Remember that the water is very cold, so don't forget your wetsuit. Lastly, Morro Bay is known for shark sightings, so keep an eye out just in case. What is very unique about Morro Bay is the fact that there is a strong current close to the rock that you can use to your advantage when paddling out. As you can see by the arrows, this current lies between 20 and 30 yards away from the rock. If you paddle out along this path, you'll be fighting much less white water and will be out in no time. Once you are out far enough, paddle away from the rock to find a wave to ride in. Congrats! You have now learned all of the basic skills to practice your ride at Morro Bay. We truly hope you take advantage of living in such an awesome city, and most of all, we hope you have fun.